What's up? It's your man Chazz Ellis. Just on the live a little bit early. Don't even worry about it. Some of y'all gonna be able to get on here. Those of you who are like, Chazz, you already on the live. What's going on? What's happening, man? Don't even worry about it, boy. All right, I'm just making sure this all going smoothly. So anyway, today I'm going to talk about how to improve your self-confidence. Some of the things that I've done over the years, some of the things that I think are the most important aspects of your self confidence. Say what's up to me whenever you get on the live. For some of y'all who are waiting to get on real quick, say what's up to your man, Chazz Ellis, once you get on the live. Um, Hit me with a thumbs up. Make sure you do that when you get on. Say something. You feel me? So, what a lot of people have to understand when it comes to self-confidence is that it is it is the thing that permeates every aspect of your life. It decides what you do, it decides who you end up in a relationship with. Your self-confidence is going to decide whether you ask for that promotion on your job. Your self-confidence is going to decide whether or not you pick the relationship you want, whether or not you get out of a bad relationship. This is going to decide every aspect of your life. And because of that, it's got to be one of the most important things for you and one of the things that you look at and you say, how do I improve it? How do I make it better? How do I make it stronger so that I can have more success in my life? So I'm going to go into 7 steps that you can use. These are they're basically not even as much steps as they are just techniques that you can use to get crazy self confidence. I mean, the crazy self confidence like Steph Curry got when he shoot a three and just turn his back before the shot even go in. That's believing in yourself. The crazy self confidence that somebody got to walk across the room and holler at the person that they're really interested in without even thinking about it. That's what I'm talking about when I say crazy self confidence, believing in yourself, no matter how many other people disbelieve, no matter how many other people don't feel that you can accomplish your goal, don't feel like you can do what you want to do. Either way, you got it. You believe that you can accomplish anything. All right. The first thing you have to do is take control. The first thing you need to do in order to build your self esteem, your self confidence, is you have to take control of your self confidence. What most people have done over their lifetime is let others control their self confidence. So a lot of us don't take responsibility for our self confidence. A lot of us don't believe that we can really affect our self confidence. A lot of us don't really believe that it's something that we could even that we are responsible for. We got other people that we're blaming, and maybe they had something to do with it. Your parents, people you went to school with, teachers, coaches, extended family, brothers and sisters. There are so many people that you have come in contact with over your lifetime with ex partners that you these people that you've come in contact with, and for a lot of us, we are giving them control over our self-confidence. We are saying it is your responsibility or it's your fault that I lack the confidence in myself because you have control over that. And as long as you're doing that, you're never going to feel good about yourself and you're never going to feel like you've made the moves in life that you need to make to be where you are and be where you want to be. That's not going to happen. The thing about self-confidence is self-confidence. The confidence has to be in yourself and it has to ultimately come from you. Now, when we talk about confidence being king and we talk about controlling your self-confidence, what a lot of people think about is I got to go lift weights. I got to start making more money. Do these things help you feel more confident? Sure. But these are things that affect the reality around you that makes other people think certain things about you. What I mean by that is when you feel self confident, or based on the fact that you work out, based on the fact that you got money, based on the fact that you went and got some cosmetic surgery, based on the fact that you got a promotion at your job. These are external factors, even though they may be on your body or whatever. These are external factors that affect other people in their perception of you. And that's normally what you're responding to when you start having more and more self-confidence. So you're saying, I got more self-confidence, but in reality, what you're doing is you're responding to these external factors that are telling you how you should feel and what you should do, and how you should feel about the situation that you currently are in. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you now have control over your self confidence or you know how you want to feel or how you should feel about yourself. This does not say that. When you start talking about self confidence, when you start talking about building your self confidence, what you have to do is you have to control it from the inside out. That means no matter what's happening in your life, no matter what job you have, no matter how much money you have, if you're getting an accident, you can't exercise, you still have control over how you feel about yourself. Even if you cannot control external factors that affect other people and what they feel and think about you. This is very difficult for a lot of people, obviously. So, what do we do? What do we do to affect the way we feel about ourselves? First, taking control. We take control by saying we can affect how we think about ourselves, and it is our job. Not mommy's job, not daddy's job, not grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, and brothers and sisters. It's our job. Now, when we start thinking about that, we say, okay, so what happened to my self confidence? If it's not where I want it to be, what happened? I can take control of it. I'm figuring out what happened. This is how I'm taking control of it. What happened to my self confidence? And for a lot of us, once we look at it, we start saying, okay, there are some things that I lost along the way that either stopped me from developing my self confidence or destroy what little self confidence I had developed. Maybe your parents were abusive towards you, disrespectful towards you, really critical, whatever they could have done certain things that stopped you from developing your self confidence. Then you had friends and family members, people at school, teachers, folks of that nature who really got involved and stopped your confidence from developing. They didn't take confidence that was already good and destroy it. Because if you had good self-confidence already and it was robust, nobody would have been able to destroy it. So what they did was they either caught you while it was still developing or it never got a chance to develop because of the people that you were around at such an early age. So once we understand that, we can start reverse engineering it. If that's the case, then exactly what happened? What happened to my self-confidence? What exactly happened? What are the steps that were taken to destroy my self-confidence so that now I'm left with self-hate? You get what I'm saying? What happened to destroy my self-confidence so that I'm now left with self-hate? This is where we start getting into some of the things that we can change and we can control. When we start looking at What happened to my self-confidence? What happened and what steps were taken to destroy it? It doesn't necessarily mean that they purposely did it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was some sinister plot. That really doesn't matter though. What happened? All right, the first thing that we want to do after we've taken control is we want to locate and face objective truths. What does this mean to locate and face objective truths? There are things about yourself that you know to be true, things about yourself that you believe to be true based on things that other people have told you over the years, based on others' opinions of you and opinions of the things that you do. For a lot of people, what you believe to be true at this point in your life is based on certain things that people told you while you were growing up, told you when you were a preteen or a teenager, when you were a young adult. You now have built an entire life philosophy around these opinions and subjective truths. So you believe you're ugly, and when you date based on the fact that you're ugly. When you talk to people, you talk to people based on being ugly. When you decide in your mind what you will tolerate in a relationship, that is based on the fact that you are ugly. This is something that you've adopted as an objective truth, even though it is a subjective truth. It may be a falsehood entirely. What you've decided is because a couple people called you ugly, or maybe even a lot of people called you ugly when you were in middle school, high school, throughout the rest of your life, you have decided that you are ugly. And even though you may not say it out loud, even though you might say to the contrary, you have accepted the fact that you are ugly. You operate in a world that says, I'm ugly. It may be you're fat. It may be you're short. It may be you're broke. Whatever somebody told you, or multiple people may have told you, you have accepted this as an objective reality when it's really a subjective truth. They may have believed that. That doesn't make it true universally. So because of the fact that you have adopted these things, now you don't have control over your own self-confidence because your self-confidence is based on the belief structure of other people. They told you certain things about yourself. They projected their beliefs onto you. And now these are the things that you accept, just like you would the sky is blue, just like you would water is wet. You believe that you're stupid in the same way you believe water is wet. You believe that you're ugly in the same way that you believe the sky is blue. You believe that you're broke in the same way that you believe I'm wearing a black shirt. But these are not objective truths. So what you want to do is locate the objective truths. Okay, me being ugly is a subjective truth. If you believe I'm ugly, that's you believe that. You are not the total judge of life and everything in the world. Those are your eyes and what you believe. You can come up with any kind of formula, but it's still subjective. What is objective? Okay, I can look at a height chart and say, I am taller or shorter than the average person. I can look at a median income in the country that I live in and say I have more or less than the average household. I can take an IQ test and say I have a higher or lower IQ than the average person. These are things that I can do to find objective truths. And when you find those, you can start disputing some of the subjectives. Somebody is calling you short when you're 5'9 3/4. And you look and you say, well, 5'9 is the average height. So I'm not short, objectively. Somebody is calling you broke when you make $60,000 a year and you look and you see the median income for households is 55,000. Well, you are not broke. You're not even in debt as much as some of those households. So you are not broke. Objectively, whether they want to say you're broke or not, it's like, no, that's your opinion based on whatever it is you decided to believe. That's fine. But objectively, I'm not broke. You may say, well, you don't make six figures, you're broke. I totally understand what you're saying. But this is the median income. This is where I am. So you and your truth that you have, that's fine, but that is not an objective truth. That is not the sky is blue truth. That is not water is wet truth. That is not snow exists truth. That is not the sun shines truth. That is your opinion. When you stop believing other people's subjective truths and you start finding objective truths, that's when you find a baseline. Most of the reason why you have low self-confidence is because you've accepted somebody else's subjective truth, and that is what you use to create your baseline, to create your frame of reference. You will never feel good about yourself when you use somebody else's subjective truth to create your own frame of reference, because they are the ones who decide how you feel about yourself, because they can change that and move the goalpost anytime they feel like it. They can call you broke while you're making 55,000. You get a raise and start making 75,000, they can still call you broke. You make 100,000, they can say, well, that's not really that much money because it's just now getting to six figures. You make 500,000, they're like, really, you need to be making $1 million. They can consistently move the goalposts because you're accepting subjective truths. You are allowing that to become how you decide what you believe and what you don't believe. You're never going to find true self-confidence when you've allowed people to create the reality for you. So that's the thing you need to do. Once you take control, start doing that. The next thing you want to do is declare your own purpose. Your own purpose. You see how I said your own purpose? I didn't say declare somebody else's purpose. I didn't say declare your mama's purpose, your grandma's purpose, your daddy's purpose for you, your friends, your teachers, guidance counselor. I didn't say that. Declare your own purpose. What do you want to do and what are you here for? Not what other people tell you you should be here for, not what people tell you you should want or you should care about. What is it that you feel you are here for? Why do you feel that you were put on this planet for whatever? Why do you feel, what do you feel motivates you to get up in the morning and go about your day? This is what you have to do. Declare your purpose. You're not going to be able to be self-confident until you have your own purpose. Because when you don't have your own purpose, no matter what you do is going to be subject to the person who created the purpose for you. The purpose could have been created on the internet. The purpose could be created by your friends and family. The purpose could be created just by society at large or people in your neighborhood. Here's an example. You see these kids where they're in the 3rd grade and they test at a 12th grade reading level, and they're great at math. They do well in all of their school subjects. They're just killing it, right? And they live in a rough neighborhood. And in that rough neighborhood, people value thuggery. People value being super tough. People value being gangster. People value materials, clothes that you can buy, things of that nature. Now, because people value that in their neighborhood, they don't feel like they match up or they matter or the things they're doing are major accomplishments because they're not declaring their own purpose. People are saying nerd, you're not cool. Look at you, you're trying to be, whatever. That people are downing them in their purpose because they don't have one. They're they're allowing the people around them to tell them what their purpose should be. Then when you see the people who are happy and feeling good about their accomplishments, these are people who have decided that they can declare their own purpose. Well, you want to be on the whole thuggery thing. You want to be the next gang leader or whatever. Good for you. I'm happy for you. That is not what I want with my life, and that's not what I value. So I'm not trying to push myself into something that makes you feel good about me or you feel like I'm what I need to be. This is what I'm pushing for myself is being the best version of myself, and that is educating myself. Whatever you got going on, I'm happy for you. I hope it works out. I hope you reach triple, quadruple OG status. I hope you get all the tattoos on your face that you want to get, and they look really good. But as far as I'm concerned, as for me in my house, I'm not I'm not doing it, and I don't care what you say. Those are the happiest people in most cases because now you have self confidence that says, I can attack the world around me because this is my purpose. Your purpose may be to get married, your purpose may be to study and build your career. Your purpose, this is your declared purpose, not mine, not what other people say. The chat don't got to agree with it. Your purpose may be to have a harem full of women. That's your purpose. We can't say anything. We can't disagree. We can't say, no, based on my belief system, that's not your purpose. Who cares what you think? I don't care. I didn't ask you. Anything you say is, I don't care. Make your own purpose for yourself. If somebody else will let you make their purpose for them, go right ahead. But as for me, I'm doing what I want to do. When you have that as your thought process, now you start controlling your own self confidence. You start controlling what you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself going forward. A lot of people struggle with this because they don't have the ability. They don't have the ability, or they don't know that they have the ability to make their own purpose. They just don't know. They think that somebody else got to tell them. You know how people that read books and watch shows, and listen to gurus. What is it, guru? They listen to these different people that tell them what their purpose should be, and they don't feel like they have the ability to declare a purpose for their own life. When you do that, now you have total control over what you do next and what you're looking for. All right, so after you declared your purpose, now you want to find your tribe. You have to understand the reason why you might feel the way you feel is because you never found a place in life where you fit in. You never found a group of people who are happy for you. You never found a group of people who really rooted for you and wanted to see you win. You never found the tribe that you were looking for. All right, for some of y'all, once y'all get in the chat, make sure y'all hit me on my Cash App at Ask Chazz. Just show me some love on that if you want to. Appreciate you. Also, make sure you like and say what's up to me. I'm gonna do some shout outs right now for those of you who are on the chat watching this live stream and enjoying it. What's up, James? Chat, say what's up to James, man. We're gonna take questions here in a little while. I'm gonna kind of breeze through some of this stuff, and then we're gonna take questions. All right, so I'm talking about finding your tribe. These are the people who are happy for you. These are the people who have similar purpose, similar thoughts about their purpose. These are the people who agree with some of the things that you believe in. A lot of times you've been a square peg trying to force themselves into a round hole. And this has been causing you to be uncomfortable, feel like you just don't belong, and feel like you're not really accomplishing the goals that you have for your life. Because the people that you spend your time around, they're not your people. They may look the same, they may share the same blood and DNA, they may be from the same neighborhood, they may be the same religion, go to the same church, but they're just not your people. They don't like you like that. They don't connect with you like that, and you don't connect with them. And you're letting their opinion of you hurt your confidence when the reality of it is they would never see you in the way that you would like to be seen. It'll never happen. Not because you can't do the things that you want to do, not because you can't accomplish at a high rate, but simply because you're just not you're not compatible. They're not your tribe. You need to get with your tribe. You need to get with the people who think like you, who are happy for you. Even if they don't 100% think like you on everything, they're happy for you. They believe in you and they want to see you win. That's your tribe. These other people, yeah, I don't care what they are to you. Just because they all what they say, all skin folk ain't kin folk. All blood ain't family, really. I'm just being real. So the next thing you want to do is expand your universe. A lot of times you feel the way you do about yourself because you stayed in a small, confined space, and these are the only people that you know. You think that their opinions, you think that this person is the only version of themselves, is the only version of that person. What you'll find as you travel around, even if you don't go far, you may not be able to go to different countries or even different states. But even if you just go a little bit down the street, if you go to a different job site, different schools, one or two towns over, you'll find that a lot of these people that you put so much stock in exist in another town. That person that you put so much stock in, that person that you feel is so important in your life and so important in whatever it is you're doing or to what you're doing, that person exists in another town. Real talk. That person literally exists in another town. And you deal with this person, I think so much of them, but if you go to other towns, you'll start understanding that the people that you deal with in your town, there is a version of them pretty much everywhere in the world. There's the judgmental person, there's the bully, there's the cool person that says hi to everybody. These people exist in every town. There's the pretty girl, there's the good looking dude. These people exist in every town. You think, oh man, I'm putting this person so much on a pedestal. Oh, this is the pretty girl, Mary Jane Robinson. I loved her so much. But this person exists in a town over. The same chick that you over here worshiping. Oh, this Stanley Johnson. Oh, I just wish that dude exists somewhere else in a totally different town. He exists in South America. Same dude, basically. And that's what people don't realize until you expand your universe, that so many of the same people exist in other places. They're not special. They're not somebody you got to impress. It's not like if your town doesn't like you, you can't just go somewhere else. It's not like if you have a moment in your town that you feel just makes it to where you can never bounce back, you can't just go a town over and live the same exact life. Your town that you've lived in your whole life exists somewhere else in this country. I guarantee you. It's not as unique as you think it is. Your neighborhood exists somewhere else in this country, and in another country too. It exists in multiple countries. The whole thing you got going on, and you think it's so unique, that same vibe is somewhere else. You'll know that once you expand your universe. You have to own what's yours. So your yeses, your nos, you got to know. You got to be able to say yes when you want to say yes, and you got to say no when you want to say no. You got to stop taking the scraps that people leave behind and understand that what you want is yours. I know a lot of people think, man, you just got to take what you can get. You got to take what's available. No, you really don't. Most of the time, the things that you really want, they're there for you. You just don't reach out and take them. You hope that somebody will offer them to you. You hope that somebody will leave it behind or not want it. You hope that maybe, it'll just fall out of the sky at some point in time. A lot of times you don't have control of your yeses. There's things you want to do, but you're scared to say yes to because you look to your left and right. What would they think if I do this? What would this person think? What would that person think? You can't take control of your no's because you're so scared to say no and have somebody feel a certain type of way about you. Man, if I say no, will this person like me anymore? If I say no, will these people think I'm a bad person? If I say no, will this make it to where I never have another opportunity? This is what happens when you don't take control of what's yours, when you don't take and have ownership of what's yours. You have a right to your yeses. You have a right to your nos. You have a right to the things that you want in life. They're there for somebody to have. That job you want is there for somebody to have. Somebody gonna get it. Why not you? That dude, that girl that you like, that's there for you. Why not you? Why not you? Somebody gotta holler at that chick. Why not you? Somebody gonna get that girl. Why not you? Somebody's going to get that job. Somebody's going to get that $1 million. Why not you? A lot of times we think small because we think that the great things in life are for somebody else. Man, this is the level that I can operate at. This is the level that I can operate at. But we don't realize a lot of times that you can operate any level you want to operate at. You can have anything you want in this life. You don't have to wait for somebody else to get it, not want it, and then you just take what's left over. You can have anything you want. The last thing is you have to start crediting yourself. A lot of times we wait for somebody else to pat us on the back. Good job, buddy. You did good. It was light on your feet. But in reality, we got to start crediting ourselves. When you can credit yourself, that's one of the greatest things that you can do for yourself in this life, is give yourself the credit for the things that you've accomplished. People got you thinking that patting yourself on the back for something is a bad thing. People got you thinking that you got to wait for other people to tell you that you're good or you're great. Oh, you're just so arrogant. You think so much of yourself. You think you're too good. Yeah, I think I'm too good. What? I'm supposed to think I'm not good enough? Would that make you happy? I got to wait for you to tell me how great I am. I got to wait for you to tell me that I can feel good about myself. I've accomplished enough for your little bar that you got in your mind for me to have some self-esteem and self-confidence. Cool. Appreciate you, James. You're a real one, man. Thank you. I got to wait. I got to wait for you to tell me that I can feel good about myself. That's the craziest thing ever. For you to really believe in your heart that you have to wait for somebody else to give you credit. You can't do it for yourself. Who are they? That's once again giving somebody else the power. They have control over your self-confidence because they have decided whether or not you can feel happy, whether or not you can feel good about the things that you've accomplished. You got to start giving yourself credit. All right, we're going to go to the questions. Who's got questions? Who's got questions, statements, things they want to talk about? Let me know. Once again, the Cash App is Ask Chazz. That's Chazz with two Z's, as you already know. If you wanted me to talk about something else in the next live stream, make sure you put that in the comment section below. All right, I'll be on here for a few more minutes. Best place to meet girls. You came right out there with it, huh? Okay. Best place to meet girls. It's going to depend on what you want that girl for. If you're just trying to smash, a lot of times the best place to meet girls when you're just trying to smash is normally going to be on like Instagram. Facebook is good. And here's why Facebook is good. Because it's good to meet people on something that everybody else ain't on anymore. Like when you got a few people that's on it, that like a lot of people that kind of take an exodus from the site, Snapchat, stuff like that. These are the places where you're going to be able to meet girls if you just want to smash. The best place to meet girls if you're trying to just develop some kind of relationship at some point, work, not your work, their work. That's a good place to meet somebody. Go to different spots, especially like high-end spots, depending on your financial situation, obviously. Spots that take a certain level of professionalism. Go to their jobs and talk to people, engage with them. If they'll talk to you at their job, if they'll engage with you at their job, that means that they don't mind talking to you in a public place. And you get to kind of know just what level they can operate at, whether they can be professional at their job, whether they're kind, whether they smile. These are certain things you're going to see about that person. So meeting girls at their jobs, and the good jobs to meet people at is like customer service, gyms. Like if you don't ever work out, see, you said what job sites to go to. I'm already on it. Gyms, places like if you go to like places where you need like a certain amount of customer service, like where somebody's selling something, places where, you know, like travel agencies. I know it sounds crazy. Also like airports. It may sound wild, but places where people travel, like airports, stuff like that. You'll be surprised how many women you'll meet that have those type of jobs, and they're professional. A lot of times they're really nice because that's part of the job. So a lot of times look at the job description and then look for the girl you want based on the job description. Okay, I want somebody that's nice. I want somebody to have a certain level of punctuality. I want a person with a certain level of style, maybe. Look at the job. That's going to be like maybe like your flight attendants or people who work to take tickets at the airport. That's going to be people who, if you're doing decorating, realtors. These are the type of people that often have that level of customer service that you might be looking for in a relationship. Because don't get it twisted. You need somebody with good customer service in a relationship. You are a customer in a way, you know, just to be real. If they can't even be nice at their own job, how you think they're going to treat you when they get in a relationship? What got you into advice and counseling? Life, money, or something like a player coach like in basketball? So the reason why I got into this stuff, I got into it about, what is it now, 12, 13 years ago? 2000, about 12 years ago now. So the reason why I got into this, it was really more on a humbug. At first, just being real, I did pretty well high school, college, and stuff like that with women. So friends of mine would ask me for like different types of advice, and people say used to be like, "Man, you should do that. You should do that for a living. You should give out advice for a living, man. You should put people up on game for a living." They didn't have at that time. YouTube didn't even exist. So I went on along in my life, and I had different life experiences, and I would always kind of give people information that they would ask for, just based on things that I had been through in my own life, things I had done in my life, different career paths that I would take. People would ask me for. I used to be a police officer. People would ask me for advice on when they get arrested or get a DUI or something. Hey, can you help me with this? I sold cars. People would ask me for advice on what they should do when they're about to buy a car or something like that. There were different career paths that I had taken, and there was also different life things that I had been through. And a lot of my friends would ask me those type of questions. And then a lot of women started asking me, like, yo, man, I go through this type of stuff with dudes that I'm dealing with. What's the deal? Because when women see that you have good interactions with women, or that you got a lot of women that are kind of dealing with you at a time, a lot of times they'll ask you, like, yo, why is this dude doing this? Or why is this dude doing that? And I think what happened for me is I would give girls like the real, from my real perspective. I wouldn't be like, oh, he's a dog and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I just tell them the straight up truth. I'm like, well, damn, look how you acting. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, well, look how you acting. The man called you 4 or 5 times. You was out with your homegirls. And then you wonder why you became a bust down. Like, he tried to hang out with you in the daylight. He tried to be in a real relationship with you. You were too busy for that. He ended up smashing on a late night tip. And now you became a bust down. So people got mad at that, but they also respected it. And they would ask for more and more advice. So when I started making videos on YouTube, I just started making videos just saying those things that I said to friends of mine, saying those things that I said to people when they asked me for private advice. I was just keeping it real with dudes and keeping it real with women. And I wasn't really taking sides because I never have. Like, if you my homeboy, I believe the best way I can help you is by giving you the real truth. I'm not going to sit here and tell you things that you want to hear. Like, if you say, oh man, why is this girl treating me like this? Because she like that other dude better than you. And the reason why she like him better than you is because he's got respect for himself and you don't have any respect for yourself. Look at you. I'm gonna be real with you. And when I tell people stuff like that, it was never to hurt their feelings. It's to try to give you the understanding that this is what's really happening in the world. So I gave people that information privately first. And then when I made the videos, I just did the same thing. And I did it because I wanted to help people who were good people meet each other. Because this is what happens in our world. You got people who are really, I don't want to just be judgmental, but people who are like, they really kind of users. And you got male users, you got female users, you got just users, right? And normally what happens is users meet nice, vulnerable people because they're out there looking to get over on somebody, whether it's I'm just looking to smash, I'm looking to take you for your money, I'm looking to use you and drain you emotionally because it helps me, and that's just what I'm on, whatever. And they seek these people out, right? They seek out people every day, and they take somebody who's good, loving, and open and use and abuse that person until they are now closed off and they're looking for somebody else to use for some level of get back. So I used to have a saying that I would make all the time is assholes beget assholes. So you take people who are nice and open, it's like vampires, when they bite somebody and then that person become a vampire. They take good people and bite them and turn them into complete assholes. And then they go and bite somebody. and so forth and so forth and so forth. So I always felt that by giving out the game and giving out information on both sides, what it does is it says now when you expose what's really going on in the world, it helps nice people find each other first before they get ran over by some of these people who are just out to use them. And even if they have been ran over by some of these people out to use them, it really lets you understand, like, have I become a vampire? Am I out here just getting over on people with no level of respect for what's going on? And if I am, well, that's why I'm getting some of the things that I'm getting out of life. And if I want to, I can change. I can change who I am as a person. And that's why I always wanted to do that. I wanted to show people how you got into the situation that you're in. How did you get with somebody who was using you for money? How did you get with somebody who was using you just to smash? How did you get with somebody who just, took advantage of you? How? And then how do you change that relationship to be something better for yourself? And how do you change your relationships in the future? Maybe not that particular one, but how do you change the relationships that you have in the future? So that's why I did it. It wasn't really about money. I have made some money doing life coaching, relationship coaching, career coaching. I have, but that wasn't what I didn't even know I would be able to make any money doing it initially. To be real with you, when I first started, I didn't know for even 1 second that I'd be able to make any money doing it at all. All right, we got anything else? I'm about off of here in a couple minutes. Got a straight up siren going through. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. They wilding over here. I'm actually out of the country right now. By the country, I mean the United States. That's where I'm from. All right, so I appreciate all y'all okay. What are my thoughts on cold approach? It's cold approach is like sales, really. Most of the time, it doesn't even have to, there never really has to be a cold approach. And this is what I mean when I say this. Okay, most of the time, when you have a quote unquote cold approach, you go up to somebody out of nowhere that you never met before. You meet them at a club, you meet them at a bar, sometimes you meet them at the grocery store, something like that. And out of nowhere, you just go up to this person and try to generate some type of makeshift relationship, even a tentative one, but you try to generate that out of nowhere, right? That's never going to have a high success rate ever. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how much money you have, because whatever your situation is, you're going to always try to shoot higher and higher, and it's never going to work at a high rate or as high as it would if you. So what I suggest instead is take an inventory of the situation before you just make it a cold approach. So if you see somebody in the grocery store and you feel like you might be attracted to that person, okay, cool. But you got to remember, you're trying to holler at somebody and create something out of thin air with a person that you have no idea who they are. You've never met them. They don't know you. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they don't like. So instead of doing that in a lot of cases, I would suggest trying to find a way into the same space. So when you find a way into the same space, like if they over here looking at cantaloupes, you might look at squash that are right next to them. What's next? Squash? Watermelon? All right, you looked at something that's right next to it. Normally in that situation, if y'all are in close proximity, if they have any level of interest, they will look at you. They will try to make some level of eye contact. From there, you can make it real simple. Yo, man, how do you check and see which cantaloupe is a good one or not? Do you know? You know, you can make it something simple like that. And if they continue the conversation, you don't got to try to turn it romantic right away, but you can just exchange whatever information you guys will be comfortable exchanging. Yeah, oh, you shop here a lot. Okay, me too. Yeah. You live around here? Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. You know, man, hey, we should hit each other up on Instagram sometime. Yeah, because what I mean, you can tell me more about cantaloupes, stuff like that. This is how you can end up connecting with somebody without putting yourself out there to say, oh, I really like you. Can I take you out sometime? That type of cold approach, to me, it does work sometimes, but it gives up all your power immediately. Because even if she says yes, now you're in a situation where you've basically already said, look, I really like you, and this is what level I put you on, and you really don't know whether she like you or not. So for me, in that situation, I like to be like, look, I'm gonna talk to you. We're gonna converse, have a good little banter back and forth, get more information, and then kind of go from there to decide. First of all, I don't even know what your Instagram look like, so I don't know what kind of person you are in real life. Like, I know people think that meeting somebody at the grocery store, that's who you are in real life. You're really more who you put online, what you put online. That tells your inner thoughts. I want to see the entire universe of you. I want to know who your friends are. I want to know what type of people you agree with when they put out comments. I want to know just different things about you that decide whether or not we would even be compatible before I'd even try to be like, let's go out on a date. Some of you guys, and this is a good question, this is a good ass question. Some of you guys ask people out way too quick. If you meet somebody in the grocery store, that should just be somebody that you know as an acquaintance. If you meet somebody at a club, same thing. Y'all might dance, all that kind of stuff. Keep it light. Don't even try to turn it into a relationship yet. The reason why I say that is because you don't know them, you don't know anything about them. And because you try to turn everything into a relationship so quick or turn it into a dating scenario so quick, there's nowhere to go from there. There's nowhere to go. So if you find out some things you don't like about the person, or you find out, that maybe y'all not 100% compatible, you already done went in and decided to go relationship and all that. Plus, sometimes it just make the person feel like you're already counted and they look for something else. You think it's stupid to walk around the shopping center and try and ask for everyone's number after just a few lines? Yeah, for sure. I don't think it looks cool for like he's basically saying, do you think it's stupid to walk around the shopping center and ask for people's numbers after you just talk to them for a second? I personally think so. Look, I don't like to knock nobody's game because hey, that's what you do. Cool. Some people are volume shooters, but for me, I think when you do that kind of thing, it's it's kind of like, okay, now you got a phone number and you could call a person, but after that small interaction, you really don't have much to go on to gauge interest. So you're calling people up, which is fine, but it's kind of one of them things where it's like, where do you go from there? Okay, say you get 10 numbers doing that. First of all, you're going to get a number, then you're going to go get another number, and hopefully the people aren't seeing you get these numbers, because now if the girl you get the first number you got is going to look at number 2, 3, 4, and 5 and maybe not want to talk to you. So by the time you call, she's like, man, I ain't trying to talk to this dude. So I think when you should take more time to pick your target. If you're in a grocery store or something like that, shopping center or whatever, if you're in a place like that, walk around a little bit, get to see what's there, find somebody that you kind of have more of a high level of attraction to, somebody you would want to talk to, and talk to them first. You might talk to somebody else also, but you probably aren't going to see 10 people that you really want to talk to like that. So talk to somebody that's really catching your eye. And then before you ask for a number, gauge. Don't just hit her with a couple lines. Gauge interest. See what you can see about her and what you can know about her within the small amount of time y'all have to interact with each other before you go asking for phone numbers and stuff like that. Because I believe the more you can check the person's interest before you take another step, the better it's going to be for you. So you're not looking thirsty, asking a whole bunch of people for their numbers, getting rejected by a bunch of random chicks. Because, eventually that does start to hit you a little bit. You're not calling people up and wasting your time, getting a bunch of fake numbers and stuff like that. You're getting more quality interactions for your time. All right, that was a good one too. All right. Thank you all for coming out. Make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't, if you want to keep seeing my lives. You can share them with other people, whatever. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Peace.